So the reason for the T-shirt is, first, to encourage you to pick them up, and second, because if we expect to get the quality and quantity of skilled workforce, they have to believe this. And if you believe it, there's a better chance they'll believe it. The Reshoring Initiative, our mission is to bring solid, well-paying manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. We offer a very cost-effective partial solution. We don't offer the whole solution, but a partial solution to the manufacturing and balance of trade problems. We provide tangible actions that companies can take today. While we talk, while we discuss, while we debate, tangible actions that can be taken today. We're a nonprofit corporation sponsored by 28 manufacturing trade associations and companies. A couple of definitions. Reshoring and backshoring have always meant work that went away and it came back. The President Obama made it a little more complicated by adding the term insourcing. Okay. Offshoring has been a major cause of the problems we see, especially unemployment, slow economic growth, et cetera. I agree entirely with the position taken earlier and the one recently reported by ITIF saying that the impact of the overstatement of productivity has resulted in an understatement of offshoring's job devastation for the U.S. The causes of offshoring, principally two. First, low offshore wages, accentuated by currency manipulation, caused the companies to go seeking those low wages and the resulting low prices. Second, about 60% of the companies did not accurately calculate what it really cost them when they offshore. They looked only at the price instead of what we call the total cost of ownership, the TCO. And thereby they missed about 20, 30, even 40% of the total cost, and therefore made wrong decisions in many cases. So we provide the total cost of ownership estimator, a free software on our website that companies can use to make the correct decision, to correctly evaluate what it really costs them when they offshore, so they can make a better decision in their own micro interest to reshore. So we don't ask them to take one for the country, so to speak. We ask them to do what's actually best for them. As an example of the power of this, I took the last 7 cases where users had gone onto our website and compared a part, buying it from China or buying it from a U.S. supplier, and what the total cost would be. And in the 7 cases, the U.S. averaged 142% higher than the Chinese price. 142%, including one tie. The U.S. total cost of ownership, however, total cost of ownership including the price, the duty, the freight, the carrying cost of the inventory, the travel cost, all the other costs that should be assigned, the total cost of ownership averaged only 23% higher. So instead of 142, only 23. And in 40% of the cases, the U.S. total cost of ownership was actually lower, and on average 37% lower. So you go from a case of 1 out of 7 parts would be produced here to a case where 3 out of 7 would be produced here, which emphasizes again that this is a partial solution. It doesn't say that proper analysis will bring it all back, but it will bring back a portion of it. There are some recent favorable trends that have been pretty well reported that suggest that it's time for this to happen. Boston Consulting Group was widely reported with their study that for sale in the United States by 2015, a convergence of Chinese and U.S. total costs. See, they emphasize you have to look at the total cost. Booz & Company said that U.S. manufacturing is now generally competitive for sale in the U.S. as long as you look at total cost, although we're still not competitive for exporting to China. The MIT Forum for Supply Chain Innovation recent survey said that 40% of the U.S. companies that responded are considering bringing work back to the U.S. because, for a major reason, cost. So things are heading in our direction. Again, doesn't say that we've solved the whole problem. We also have a library. You go onto our website, resources, library, you'll find 240 articles about reshoring. And there's a great variety of cases. Heavily promoted examples include GE's bringing back water heaters to Louisville. They've spent millions. They probably spent almost as much on the ads as they spent on the plant, and because they're proud of having done it. And a very good case. Separately, Master Lock. We've seen a lot about Master Lock having brought back work to Milwaukee. My favorite is Whammo. Whammo brought back 50% of their Frisbee production from China to California and Michigan. And if you can bring back something as simple as Frisbees to states with as high wages as California and Michigan, you can bring back almost anything to some place in the United States. So what is the government doing to help this, since we're in Washington? I believe that the government should put at least as much effort on reshoring as they now put on exporting, because the payback is dramatically higher. President Obama gave this a lot of momentum with his January 11th insourcing forum in which I participated, and his subsequent effort and focus on insourcing. The Commerce Department and the Reshoring Initiative have been cooperating on the CJS minibus directive to develop and promote total cost of ownership software to encourage jobs to come back. And there's some actions from that. There's a link now on their website directly to our website to encourage the use of the software. I'm testifying at a CJS appropriations hearing tomorrow on this subject. I'm meeting Thursday with NIST MEP to work out a plan to implement this effectively. And Select USA in the Commerce Department is actively working with us to get information out to the economic development organizations around the country to get them to use this as a tool to encourage foreign companies to invest here and US companies to stay here. So what else can be done? Reshoring will occur more rapidly if the lawmakers help make the US a more competitive place to do business. The actions proposed by everyone else at this conference, I agree with. They're essential for success. The lack of skilled workers is probably almost the underlying problem. If we don't have the people and we don't have the quality of people, it's not going to get done. This afternoon, I have a meeting with Jane Oates, the Assistant Secretary of ETA in the Labor Department, and I'm trying to convince them that the data they put out each year is counterproductive. In effect, it says go get a university degree, and I'm trying to convince them to put much more emphasis on the income and the other career results of getting becoming a tool and die maker, precision machinist, or similar. I encourage all of you to wear your T-shirts. These were provided by manufacturing.com. In conclusion, as shown by the data that I presented from our user database, reshoring and total cost of ownership are not sufficient to drive the total manufacturing renaissance. They are, however, real, tangible results that companies can take today, and especially if you, the media, Congress, et cetera, encourage them to do so. But it mainly takes information. It doesn't take a lot of money to get it done. By doing so, we don't have to wait for Congress to act. We don't have to wait for the World Trade Organization to approve. We don't have to wait for all that. We don't have to wait for Mitt Romney to get elected. Companies are doing it right today. Hundreds of companies are using our system. Companies routinely call me and ask for help for implementation. The Congress and the administration have an important role to play in encouraging reshoring and in making our society competitive enough to seize the rapidly growing reshoring opportunities. Thank you very much.